Now, a lot of you have heard me say these words. Success breeds what? Success breeds what? Raise your hand if you agree with that. I agree with that. And consequently, that's why it's important to ingrain our wins into the cells of our body, mind, and spirit. What's the word, please? Celebrate. If you and your team have achieved something, it's the leader's job. Whose job? It's the leader's job to make certain that you celebrate it. That's your job. What else is your job? Here's your word, everything. Your job is to make sure everything happens, right? The result. You don't have to do it all. It's your job to make sure it does get done. Yes or yes? So what exactly does celebrate mean? Let's go back to our trusty dictionary. To celebrate, number one, to mark a special occasion by ceremonies or festivities. Good? And number two, to praise something publicly. Understand? How many people would say celebrating is very important? All right, good. The ultimate leader is great at making their and their team's achievements special. Does anyone know the number one desire of every human being has? Other than sex. What else? Yes. Desire for approval. Recognition. Desire for approval. Approval from others, especially their leaders, and approval from themselves and for themselves. So your celebration is part of your way of showing approval and giving acknowledgement. Understand? And it's a reward that inspires and motivates both yourself and your people. And again, here's what's the distinction between mediocre leaders and the ultimate leader, is that in the ultimate leadership system, the celebration is part of that system. It's part of the list. It's just as important as the objective. It's just as important as what's the obstacles. It's just as important as the resources. It's just as important as the action. It's just as important as the feedback, the adjustment. It's just as important. Yes or yes? I'm not saying every single time it has to be this huge party, although that would be nice. But every single time there must be, for a win, some form of what? Celebration. If you ever notice in sports, and when they score a goal, when they get a touchdown, what do? They go, oh yeah, another freaking touchdown, right? They do what? Celebrate. Do you do that? Do you do that in your business? Do you do that with your family? Do you do that with your relationships? Probably not. True or true? That means you're not a good leader. What are you waiting for? Waiting for somebody else to make this suggestion. Good leader has it as part of the system. Celebration. They make sure it happens. They may not plan it. They would go, Bob, you're in charge of the celebration when we achieve this. So get ready and make it hot. Your budget is 18 cents. I don't care. Not a lot of money, but make it fun. Understand? Doesn't matter about the money necessarily. It matters about that there's a formal method of celebrating it. Would that be important? Yes or yes? Yes. Raise your hand if you agree with that. Yes. Whose job is that? The leaders. The leader's job. Are you finding out things that you didn't know were your job? Yes. As a leader? Yes or yes? Because everything is your job. But these are the 10 things that are your job. They're your position. You have to make sure they happen. True or true? How many people recognize that if they happen, these things happen, there's a good chance you're going to succeed? Yes? Okay. Also, if you'll notice, it's usually one or more of these things missing in every failure. True or true? Okay. Why do you celebrate? To anchor, thank you, very good. Because it works. It works. It works to motivate and inspire your people and yourself for next time. Yes or yes? For the next performance. It enhances your performance for next time. Recall the stories of the warriors who came back from battle and then they played as hard as they fought. Yes or yes? Huge stories. It's the yin and yang of life. First you act, and then you relax and rejuvenate, and you have fun and you enjoy. Yes or yes? 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 So the job of the celebration is to reignite and refresh your spirit for the next time. Good or good? You make it fun, you make it meaningful, you make your team feel acknowledged, you make them feel approved of. And if you do, let me say this right now, you'll have a team that will not only be winners, but they will be, more importantly, loyal winners who will follow you to the ends of the earth. How many leaders do you know out there that when things go well, they make sure they celebrate it? Raise your hand if you know there's a lot of leaders who could be doing that a lot more. Raise your hand. Raise your hand if you're one of them. Understand? But imagine for a moment that you had a leader that every time you guys did something well and you won something, you did something, there was some form of celebration, some acknowledgement, something happening there. Raise your hand if you go, this is hot. This would be great. Would you like to do that? Yes. Would you have fun doing it? Yes. Would you enjoy doing it? Yes. Would it ignite you to do more of it? Yes. Of course. Where are you? So, we've accomplished our objective, and you've celebrated, so we're complete. Yes? Almost. One last step that the ultimate leader in that process. Again, this is what separates the mediocre person from the magnificent leader. What is it? Yeah, you start again. You start again with a new objective. Once they and their troops have enjoyed their celebration and their rest, the ultimate leader begins preparing for the next goal or the next part of the vision. Why not stop? Why not just enjoy the fruits and just flake out and rest and that's it, it's over? That's right. Number one, momentum. I'm going to share something with some of you who've never seen me or heard me talk about this before, but I'm telling you right now because I've been up and down and up and down, and now I've been up and up and up and up and up, and I know the difference. I know the difference, and I know it in hundreds of thousands of people now because I hear your feedback. Yes? Yes? Yes. Momentum. Newton's law said this: a body in motion will tend to stay in, while a body at rest will tend to remain at rest. Understand? In success, there is nothing that kills long-term success faster than a loss of momentum. Raise your hand if you want to be very successful. Raise your hand if you want to be long-term. Then you can't stop. You've got to keep growing. We'll talk about that in a second. That's number two. The people who stop and celebrate too long or take too long to make a move to their new objective, their new goal, almost always lose everything quickly. If you've ever been up on top, financially especially, or in a business, and you've lost it, I almost guarantee losing momentum in a certain area is probably what cost you. For example, when I made my first $1 million, I was so enthralled with myself that I took 2 years off. Pretty soon I was back to almost zero. Now I'm scared to death to stop because I know what will happen. Understand? So when I stop, it won't be a stop, it'll be a change. It'll transition into something that is workable, ongoing. Yes or yes? Yes, yes or yes? Yes. You don't want to lose momentum. This is true in every facet of life. It's true in business. In what? In what? In money, in sports, in relationships, even your happiness. It's a matter of energy, isn't it? Very tough to get going again once you've stopped. True or true? As the ultimate leader, it's important you keep your team moving, going, always growing to the next level. Even if you're ready to cool it, they may not be. And it's your job, if you're on the sidelines, to make sure they are consistently going and growing. And that's the second reason. The object of life is not to collect some successes and die. It's to grow yourself as a person. As a what? In character, in strength, in habits, in virtues, in mindset. And to grow your team in character, in strength of character and virtues as a habit. So that your team's job is not just to get to the goal. Your job as a leader is to grow those people as characters, as in mindset and attitude. As part of your job is so that they grow as a person. Yes or yes? Yes. That's your job as a leader. What does that do for them? Well, it makes their life a lot better. What does it do for you? It makes your life a lot better. Because if they grow as a person, then you've got the who are they handled. Who are you and who are they? Good or good? Good or good? So you're responsible for assisting and supporting them and growing as an individual. Yes? All right. Now, you also want to, as I said, grow yourself. And that's why, as you know, statistics show that most people in retirement, basically, they die pretty quickly, don't they? The fact is that most people in retirement don't die all at once. They simply decay over time from being unused, from stopping, from not having a new mission or a new vision. Understand? If you have any elderly parents or anything like that, if they still have their health, and if you want them to be much happier, I encourage you to get them a new mission, a new vision. Because they will flourish with that. People die in spirit before they die in body. Very often. Yes or yes? And then one begets the other. People who come back from illnesses, usually it's because their body is having a problem, but their spirit won't quit. Their spirit will always look to the future. You want to see a person who comes out of an illness, it's because they're looking towards the future. You want to see a person who dies quickly, it's because they're looking towards the past and what's going on right now. I'm sick, oh my God. Got it? That's it. You know this, yes or yes? Yes. You got to have something in front of you. That's why your eyes are put in the front of your head. God was very smart. If we were supposed to look backwards, it would be over here. Got it? Many years ago, a magazine asked Madonna why she came out with a new look, a new style, and even a new type of music virtually every year. They called her a brilliant marketer. But the writer was quite shocked when in the interview, the actual interview, Madonna replied that her annual makeovers had little to do with marketing and everything to do with keeping herself sharp, creative, in great shape, and the best she could be. That's why she changes it up every year and comes out with the new Madonna, the new hair, the new look, the new this, the new that, to keep herself as fresh and as up as she can be. You understand that? And her marketing's not bad. And again, one of the most important things to remember is that goals aren't only to be achieved in and of themselves, but their primary purpose is to get the best out of you and to get the best out of your team. The Super Bowl itself is meaningless. The Stanley Cup itself is meaningless. It's a freaking piece of metal. What is it for? The money itself is a bunch of paper that hopefully buys some nice stuff. But the goal of the goal is to grow you in the process of attempting to achieve that goal. Do you understand the difference? Do you understand the difference? Yes. If you will only get that one thing out of this course, you'll have gotten your money's worth 1,000 times over, because your life will be different. Because you'll know that objective, that goal has very little to do with that, but everything to do with you. And its job is to grow you into a better person. To achieve that goal takes a better you. Yes or yes? Yes. That's why you want a new goal. That's why you need a new objective. Because once you get here, what's your new thing? You got to go here. And when do you stop? When you take your last breath. That's a good time to stop. That's the only time you stop. And then you'll finish off your life in the way you want to. You know, one of the trainers in one of the other courses, you know, we've talked about this several times, but he talked about it pretty recently. And, you know, reminded me, because we